Hello everyone, and congratulations on your acceptance to Boston University. I want to take a few minutes to go over our expense planning calculator to give you a better idea of our billed and estimated expenses, which you can compare with your financial aid award. If we scroll down to the first section, you'll see our annual billed expenses. These are the amounts directly billed by Boston University that will appear on the student account. The first item is our tuition and fees. Since this amount is the same for all students, you'll see it already entered on the right-hand side. The second amount is for your housing option. Since all first-year students are required to live on campus, we'll go ahead and select the second option, which is the standard rate for a double, triple, or quad dormitory style room. The third option is medical insurance. BU offers a standard medical plan for all students. However, if you have existing medical coverage that qualifies, you can choose to waive this and use your current medical insurance provider. The fourth item is an orientation fee, which is a one-time fee for newly admitted students to cover the cost of summer orientation programming. And the final amount is our sports pass. This is an optional fee that will allow students to attend all on-campus sporting events, but you can elect not to take this if you don't want to. You'll see the total at the bottom of annual billed expenses. This is the amount of the bill before any financial aid or scholarships, and is the amount that will appear on the student account. While this is what is directly billed by Boston University, there are additional expenses you should plan for, which we'll get into a little bit later. The next section is our estimated credits from scholarships, grants, and other sources. This is where you would include your BU financial aid, federal financial aid, and any other sources of income or payment that you would be anticipating towards your bill. The first section is scholarship grants, including federal and state grants. This is where you would enter your BU and federal financial aid. Let's say the total of this amount is $70,000. The next section is possible external scholarships, veterans benefits, and tuition benefits. Let's say you applied for an outside private scholarship through your community and were awarded $1,000. You would enter that amount here. Next is the amount you plan to pay annually via the monthly payment plan. The monthly payment plan is an important tool because it is interest-free and you can set this up for any amount. This is a good way to spread the cost of a one-time payment over time rather than paying it all at once. Let's say your family chooses to contribute $1,000 total through the payment plan. Next would be planned payments from family savings or others. Let's say that your family plans to contribute $3,000 from a savings account. You'll see at the bottom here the total credits. This is the total amount paid towards your bill from all of the sources defined above. Below this, you'll see your annual billed expenses minus the estimated credits. This amount is the remaining amount of your bill that you should plan to pay after all of these are considered. We mentioned other expenses earlier. We'll go over those now. The major other expense that is not billed by Boston University but students should plan to save for is for books and supplies. We estimate this amount at $1,000 for average students, but this amount can vary based on where you get your books and if you use online textbooks. We'll keep this amount at $1,000. Next, we'll look at if you are in BU housing with a meal plan, if you use local transportation, personal and miscellaneous expenses. Since all first-year students are required to live in BU housing with a meal plan, we'll keep this amount at $0 since it's already been included above. And if commuting from home, you can have a window for transportation, meals, and other personal expenses. Again, we'll leave this blank for now since first-year students will be living on campus. You'll now see the total other expenses that will be included with this amount. Next, you can look at your work and any loan options that you choose. Expected earnings from federal work study or other student employment. This we'll leave blank because student employment is paid in a weekly paycheck, so you'll save that over the course of a semester, but it won't be available all up front to pay your first bill. This is something that you can include in your plan on future semesters though if you choose to save this, or you can use it to pay for your weekly and monthly expenses while at Boston University. If you are eligible for a Massachusetts no-interest loan, you can enter that amount here. Let's say you are eligible for $1,000. Next, all students are eligible for federal direct loan. These are the freshman amounts for dependent and independent students. let's say you choose to use these loans as a freshman dependent student. That amount will be entered here. There's also the option to use the Federal Plus or private credit-based loans. If you were to use these or are planning on that, you can enter those amounts here. However, we'll leave this blank for now. So at the end, you'll see your total work and loan options to cover your remaining expenses. This is the amount available to cover the remaining annual billed expenses and your estimated other expenses. To compare these to see where you're left with, you will want to add this field with this field and subtract it from this. That is where you'll see if you have money left over or if you need a little bit additional to pay for your bill. If you have any questions when looking at this field, please feel free to reach out to BU Financial Assistance and we'll be able to help more with planning around your cost of education.